Welcome back to another edition of the I Prefer the 80s and 90s Sports Podcast. A podcast where I talk about why I prefer the sports of the 80s and 90s over today. In the 1970s, there was a famous broadcaster by the name of Howard Cosell. And I would do a Howard Cosell impersonation, but I don't do a good one, as you can hear me trying right now. One day, Howard was sitting down and they were talking to him about sports in general, and then the subject of broadcasting came up, and he started talking about a word that no one uses, no one ever says, but he called it the jockocracy. The jockocracy is basically where networks hire jocks who have no training in broadcasting to do the jobs that men and women who have the training in broadcasting do. And networks believe that former athletes are more equipped, better on television because they can tell us things about teams, about strategies, about the games that we quote unquote don't know, even though I would say 75% of us has played the game, maybe not as high as the levels, but the same premise goes that in baseball, you got to hit the ball, you got to throw it. Football, same thing, score touchdowns. Basketball, put the ball in the hoop. Soccer, put it in the net. Tennis, beat your opponent, make sure he or she doesn't hit back to you. Golf, keep the ball in the fairway and try to score in the lowest amount of shots to get into the hole. I started out talking that way because the thing about today that I don't like, along with the jockocracy, is it's becoming completely a world where the players and former players are dictating the terms of sports. I'm a person who believes that there are things that are in place in life for a reason. You go to a job, you have a boss. You have a patriarch or matriarch at home who is responsible for making decisions for you until you turn 18. You have a president. You have people in place. I'm coughing, you know what that means. You have people in place in society whose job is to determine fate of people that aren't their parents, that they don't know, that they are put in charge to take care of. What's happening today in sport is so many people like myself are getting pushed aside for broadcasting jobs, coaching jobs, because we weren't pros, we weren't college superstars, we aren't any of these things. Athletes today in college feel compelled to make sure a whole bunch of things become true for them. Firstly, they want to be paid. They feel that getting 4 years of an education for free is not enough money because they have no money to survive off season, during the season, and they feel that the time that they put in to play these sports is worthy of payment. It is so bad now that athletes won't go to certain colleges unless certain colleges, certain boosters from colleges, certain stores in certain colleges, certain advertising brands, whatever, don't offer them any money, they're not going. And now apparently it's legal to be offered benefits. And so all those players in the 70s, the 80s, and 90s who got benefits and got busted and got lost eligibility, lost years of college, ruined their lives. Today, kids can have the things that the kids in the 80s and 90s couldn't. Now you say, why do you like that better in the 80s and 90s? Well, I like it better in the 80s and 90s because you can't control what's happening today. I mean, the rumors And the alleged visit, for example, for Arch Manning to go visit Texas, supposedly somebody spent $2 million for him and another player to come visit the school. And who knows how much money was given to Arch Manning to attend Texas. Who knows? They put there's a kid who played in Kansas State last year, 2 years ago. He transferred to Miami and was given like a $500,000 stipend, bonus, whatever, for doing so. And I guess he advertises cars for them. It's out of control. And if you're really popular, or if your daddy's really popular, and you're coaching him, you get national brands. You get Kentucky Fried Chicken. If you're really popular, you get sneaker brands. You get everything under the sun. Paige Buchers has not played in 2 years, the full season, because she blew out her knee and was a freshman and led UConn to the Final Four and blah, 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 blah. She's got several commercials on TV. Paolo Banchero got commercials on television, and so on and so forth. And now I'm reading that the University of Dartmouth has a few students that think the college athletes should unionize. I had to pause there for a second because it's gotten completely out of control. Kids and all the talking hairdos a lot of them are former players, all sit there every day and they say, if the coaches can leave schools when they want to, so should the kids. Well, sometimes coaches don't leave when they want to. Sometimes coaches get fired. Most times coaches get fired. Usually when a coach leaves to go to a different program, they take the best kids with them and leave behind the ones that they didn't think was good enough to go with them. Or they offer, hey, I'm going to Nebraska next year. You want to come? And so people keep trying to balance and saying, well, if the coaches are doing X, the players should be doing X too, considering that the players are the ones who are playing. Again, I did a blog 2 days ago, not about the name on the back of the jersey. It's about the name on the front of the jersey. The name on the back of the jersey makes you selfish if that's all you care about is you. Supposedly, coaches now are telling kids, they're asking the kids what do they want from the school, and the kids are saying, want an education, want to be part of a program. That wins. That coach wants him. But if a coach says to a player, what do you want from the school, or what do you want from me? The player says, supposedly now, in discussions with college coaches, I want an education, I want to be on a winning program, and we need a house. My family can't travel from Washington to Florida to see me play every week. So we need a house, we need income, we need jobs, and I need some money to get around campus. That's the state of college sports. That's how it was back in the day. But the difference was back in the day, not everybody could get it. And also back in the day, it was illegal. Not illegal anymore. Now you got Reggie Bush suing the NCAA saying, yo, y'all created these new rules for these people. I lost everything in college. I lost my name. I lost my Heisman. I deserve to have it back since now it's legal. And of course, they're going to laugh it out of court and say, well, it wasn't legal then. So I'm sorry, you ain't getting spit. Or they may settle out of court. Who knows? But more than likely, NCAA is not going to be like, sorry, we made a mistake 20 years ago. We didn't think it all the way through. But they completely did think it all the way through. And the only reason why it's happening today is because of this new world that we live in where nobody is wrong. No one says anything wrong. No one does anything wrong. Everyone thinks that everything is logical. It's logical, man. I mean, why is it that whenever you get sick, whenever you get injured, whenever you have surgery, they give you steroids, but you can't take steroids normally? Someone's going to come up with that argument someday and be like, it's necessary. Someone's going to come up with the argument someday, man, I smoke weed and it helps me focus better. I don't need my glasses on when I smoke weed because my focus is there and I can do this and I can do that. I play better football, basketball, baseball. My scores in school go up when I'm high. I had a former employee who told me he couldn't work, couldn't sit down at the desk because he needed to get high in order to keep him focused, to keep his mind on the job. He literally broke down and started crying. I said, are you coming to work high? No, you can't work for me, yo. You counting money. He's like, has my money ever been wrong? No. So what's the problem? The problem is, what if that one time it becomes wrong? What happens if you forget? I never forget. Pretty soon, that's coming to you next. That college kids are going to say, listen, this is the new logic of the world. I'm old enough to fight for this country, die for this country. I'm old enough to do what the hell I want. I should be able to earn money any way I want, as long as I'm not hurting nobody. And ain't nothing you can do about it. And some legislative body, whether it's college, governmental, is going to agree. And it's all coming from the college kids and the former college athletes who feel that they have been exploited, they have been taken advantage of, and not properly compensated for their time. Which is why I say it makes this era insane. Because guess what? You chose it. You are given the most important thing that a lot of people don't get, which is a free ride to go to college. All you have to do, go to class, be a good citizen, keep your grade point average above a C, perform, and if you're really good, there's a big old pot of gold waiting for you. And stay healthy. If you ask me, the biggest difference between the 80s and 90s is the kids today are falling like leaves. They get hurt every 5 seconds, every single solitary game. Torn ACL, torn UCL, back, Achilles, concussion, shoulder, hand, broken this, broken that. It is the biggest quandary of the 22nd century to me. Athletes today, collegiately and professionally, have not evolved the sport physically. They've taken the sport physically backwards, but they want more benefit from it. They want to be paid higher. They want to be paid more. They don't care if they are the 15th string guard on a football team, which is no such thing, or on a basketball team. They want to be paid. And all these former athletes are like, heck yeah, man, get yours. Everyone in this country, heck yeah, man, get yours. I ain't down with it. I'm not down with it. Because it presents a passion for lethargy. That's why I think some of these kids get hurt, because they don't go hard every play. I don't understand. I understand the logic behind wanting to be paid to play sports. But Doesn't that make you a professional, not an amateur? Wild Wild West, baby. Wild Wild West. I wish my daughter played volleyball or something like that. Earn that money. Y'all have a good one.